Whenever I meet someone who's into tiki, I always like to ask the same question. How did you get into it? Well, for a lot of people, that answer is Disney. When they were a kid, they went to the Enchanted Tiki Room and it planted a seed in them. So when they became an adult and walked into their first tiki bar, it reminded them of their childhood. So that's what we're going to talk about today on Tiki with Ray, the Disney and Tiki connection. Hi everyone, my name is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today we are at Tacoma Cabana in Tacoma, Washington. And joining me today is Piper and Ariel. Introduce yourselves if you may.
Hey, I'm Piper.
I'm Ariel.
So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So I met these two guys a couple weeks ago, and what they told me is they really like Disney, and Disney is some of the reason why they got into tiki. Is that right?
That's 100%
true.
correct.
And you know what's interesting? There's a lot of people that I've met that it's the same story. Mm-hmm. They went to the Enchanted Tiki Bar. Is that what it is? The Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yeah, ours is the room.
And from there, that's where they fell in love with tiki. Is that your story?
That is... Yeah.
Totally your story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
when we were 5 years old, parents took us to Disneyland, and we went in the Enchanted Tiki Room. And the thing I think both of us came away from it with was that we loved it. It was magical. It was singing birds in a tropical environment. But we both came out thinking, what if this was a restaurant?
Yes.
And we were 5 when we thought that. We were like, this would be cooler if it was a restaurant. And we didn't know that already existed. We had no idea that was already a thing.
Even the chairs, like the way they were, the way that the chairs were designed, we were like, doesn't it look like this should have been a restaurant? Also, at 5, we didn't know that had been the original plan. We didn't know it was going to be a restaurant. And then they were like, yeah, it was originally going to be a restaurant, and there was going to be the birds and singing
and the birds were going to be real.
Which seems like maybe
they were gonna
not
have real
the
birds in
greatest
there?
They were going to have real birds up until the point that people were like,
I mean,
the birds are going to poop in the food.
I will say this
you
right
took the
now.
words right out of my mouth.
That was the major concern.
And the fact that my mom is actually terrified of birds, so that they lost a customer.
I mean, I will say right now, working with actual real live birds that do perch above things, having them over your plates, not your best
Yeah, what
plan.
do you do for a living?
I work with birds. I work with budgericars, teeny, tiny parrots.
Okay.
So I'm a bird keeper. And then I also rate about all sorts of things, but oftentimes cocktails.
Yes,
and
you do.
Usually tiki.
Tell them a little bit about your write-ups. You write for Up Rocks, is that
I
right?
do. I write for Up Rocks, and I am their cocktail person. And my first article ever, or I'm one of their cocktail people, I should say. My first article ever was about how tiki culture was experiencing a resurgence, and I wanted to share with people how to experience that. What does that mean? What is tiki culture? And the most important thing to me was to make sure people understood that it is not this syrupy, unctuous, like technicolor, just like
blue.
Yeah, barf drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted people to realize this is a drink that has nuance, and it's going to be sour and a little bit sweet, and it's going to have some spice, and you're going to wait for a while, but you're going to be happy you waited. And the whole thing is an experience, because everybody that I knew that talked about, if you said, like, your favorite drink was a Mai Tai, like 15 years ago or whatever.
They imagine you were drinking syrup.
Yes.
Or it came out of, like, one of those giant blue dispensers.
Mm-hmm. And it had orange juice in it, or pineapple juice, or grenadine, which,
or
as
three.
you can see,
Or
is
all
not
three.
in this drink at all. My favorite drink.
So when do you think the tiki resurgence started?
I mean, that would be hard for me to say.
In your opinion?
Gosh. I mean, I only really started noticing it, would you say, like, maybe 10 years ago?
That's when we started.
That's when we even
it.
discovered, because 10 years ago was close to when we were starting to be able to drink.
Yes, so otherwise we wouldn't have noticed it.
We wouldn't have noticed it at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you guys are like 15 years old,
Right,
it's like,
Yeah.
we probably shouldn't have been noticing it before that. So
you know, in a couple of years, we might actually be legal to come to these tiki bars.
yes.
But maybe like that's when I started noticing it, because I think that one of the first bars that we ever went to was in Portland, is the Alibi.
Oh, yeah.
And it
we
was a
walked in.
total freak
Oh my God.
accident.
Yeah.
How
It was
so?
our-
Tell us the story.
It was our 21st birthday,
Yeah.
and we had kind of a bad day. Things just weren't going right, and one of our friends was like, I'm going to take you to this really weird place. It was college.
Was that the adjective?
That
Weird?
was literally what she said,
Yes.
was, I'm taking
Weird.
you to this really weird place, because there was not... Nobody thought of it like that,
No.
especially like we were in a college town. Nobody looked at it. Nobody knew what it
If
was.
you went drinking somewhere where in that area you went to the tea room and you just got like whatever.
You got a Black Opal
Yeah.
or a Long Island iced tea, which was every liquor they have, and there might be some soda.
And then you pray.
And then, yeah, pretty much.
And even then I will say
Then you take Advil.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even then I will say, like, as a 21-year-old college student, none of that appealed to me. When you would get these drinks where it was just like, look how much stuff you could put in here.
Like
I
literally
would go to
every
parties-
drink in the bar should have been named "Good luck, everybody."
Yeah.
Like,
I would go to
The name of
parties.
the drink should be called Good Luck.
yes,
Yeah.
Good luck.
every drink should have been named
Just good luck.
a variation on that. So anyhow, going back to the tea room, we do not do short
No, they
stories
said
or the-
they give you the drink, but then they give you a card that's a phone number for the taxi cab.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they
Oh, that's
should
what
have
they were.
done. But it was a college bar, so it made sense. So anyhow, she was like, "We're gonna take you to this really weird place," and we got there, and there's just this huge neon sign, and it was like the Alibi.
Yeah.
And we walked in.
Don't forget the beautiful Japanese glass floats outside that were lit up.
Yes, and we were like, "Wow."
We used to
this
drive
is-
by it all the time and it'd be like, I wonder what that is.
but
We've never been in.
at the time, I thought it was a strip club because we went to school in Portland, and everything there is a strip
Everything
club.
is.
And so
Per
we were just like,
capita, the most
You're
of
right.
any...
You are absolutely right. It totally looks like a
yeah.
strip club.
And so
from
we
the
were like,
outside.
we probably won't go in there.
Flashing lights, no
Yes,
windows.
Not
So
for
we were
us.
like, it's probably not for us. And it was in kind of a part of town where you're like, huh. There's a lot of that. So anyhow, we get there and
There's
we
a
walk
lot of
in.
there's a lot of hun.
Yes. And we walked in, and both of us were like, what?
It was literally like, we walked in, we're like, it's the Enchanted Tiki Room, but they serve booze here.
Yeah, and it was just like, it blew
Did we
our
die and go
minds.
to heaven?
That's how we.
Yes.
That's how we felt. We were
Yes.
so stoked, and they were doing karaoke, and just the whole thing was like this weirdly magical feeling that you get at Disneyland. Like that's how we
We
felt.
made friends with all these people. There was like a team of roller derby girls, and we became their best friends. And then there were these people there that were like, hi, we don't know you, but you're having a great time. Can we take your photos? We were friends with everybody there,
Yes.
and that's pretty much what happens at every tiki bar I've ever been to now.
I think that's what we like so much about it is that it's a community thing. Like you have most bars. I feel like when you go in, you're like, here I am on my phone looking at this. There's too much to look at in a tiki bar
Yeah, put
for
your
you
phone
not
away.
to have your eyes outside of your phone, and so you end up making friends with the people sitting next to you. You end
actually
up
have
having something to talk about.
Conversation.
The first time I went to Trader Sam's, it was the Enchanted Tiki Bar, so it's the one in Disneyland.
Yes.
And
That was my
and
first
I
time.
The
loved
original.
it. I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it because it really felt like just something was going on at the bar the entire time.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not as much of a Disney person as most people are. Reason why is because I grew up in Pennsylvania, and for me Disney was Disney World.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So the only way you're getting to Disney World is if you had your parents, if they made enough money to fly you down to Disney World.
And a lot of it, I think, for a lot of people, it really has to do with like, if you had that experience as a child,
Yeah.
it's a total different story than if you have it as an adult.
I went to Walt Disney World one time. It was like 1980. It just because, and like where I grew up, it was the people. There wasn't a lot of money being thrown around.
Right.
So Disney wasn't as part of my life as like most people that I met on the West Coast, where
Yeah.
I met a lot of people that are from Los Angeles, and they're like, yeah, we get the year pass.
Right, they
and
go
can
every weekend.
You know, and then it just kind of goes up. But so when I heard that Disney was going to be, they have a tiki bar, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, you
I'm
were
like,
I lost
worried
my
about
mind.
it.
I'm just thinking like, is
Because
Donna?
we were like, yes!
Is Donald Duck gonna be like serving me?
He's like
drink?
on a flower lay.
You know,
like,
is Mickey Mouse gonna be going? Hey, little buddy, here you go.
I mean, I would be okay
and
with that.
I was very skeptical. I'll be honest with you, but I'll tell you what.
I knew.
I went, and it was such a blast. I mean, you want to talk about escapism?
Oh my god.
yes.
You want to talk about going to like somewhere completely different? It was amazing.
So I have to tell you, the first time that I
Yeah.
went, I was having this day. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I gotta get out of this town right now. I'm kind of annoyed with everyone. Get in the car. I'm driving to Disneyland.
Your life is literally an 80s movie.
It
but
was.
Okay.
It was. I decided to drive to Disneyland from Napa.
Yeah.
I got in my car. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to Disneyland. And so when I got there, the first place that I knew I had to go, because I'd read everything about Trader Sam's, but I'd never been yet. So I was like, all right, I'm going to Trader Sam's. That's the first place I'm going to go. I'm going to get my hotel room, and then I'm going to go to Trader Sam's. So I go in there, and I bring books to bars if I'm going alone.
You gotta read a book at
yeah.
Trader Sam's.
So I brought a book. It was actually a book about the hero's journey as interpreted by Disney. And I brought it, but I didn't
What
need it.
did you think you were gonna be bored at a tiki
I
bar?
didn't
Trader
know. So I brought it, and I get there, and it was like immediately, like I got chills. It was so beautiful. Everybody was into like their roles. I get there, and pretty soon I get my first drink, and pretty soon everyone in the bar is playing "The Floor Is Lava." Adults. Obviously,
Human beings.
nobody there was, a child. So the bartender's like, everyone, the floor is lava. You can't touch the floor. You have to walk on other things. The floor is lava. And it was like, oh, this
Like,
is it.
dream life.
This is it. This is what I've been waiting for my entire life. And they used to have, I don't know if it works now, but they used to have this seat and I was seated there.
Oh, it works.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the one that goes.
The
Yes.
seat that slowly sinks into the quicksand, but like nobody says anything
Nobody says
about it.
anything.
So slowly, as you're sitting there at your train, you start here, and then you're like, "Why am I having such a hard time getting my beverage?" And like I was sitting in that area, and there's like everything that the guys were doing. Like everyone had a character and a role. Where they were so into it, and even when they would do like there was like kind of a joke. It was like one of my favorites was when people would order a shipwreck on the rocks, which is actually one of my favorite drinks there, which is interesting because it's not a rum drink.
Interesting.
But
It's a whiskey drink.
It's a whiskey
right?
drink,
Yeah.
and it's one of my favorite drinks there. It's very, very simple, and people tell you like it's strong, but I'm like, oh, I can handle it. So I got a shipwreck on the rocks. Well, everybody who gets it, there was this one bartender that would just crack me up. He would start to ring this alarm bell, and he'd be like, "The ship is sinking! This has never happened in the history of this bar! Never has this happened!" He's squirting people with this water bottle. He's like, "Never have we seen this!"
Yes, please. Thank you.
Excuse me. And it just cracked me up, and I had the greatest time. And so I texted a friend that lived in LA at the time to see if she could come, and she was like, "You're in a bar alone?" And I was like, "Dude, yeah."
It's a Disney bar.
It don't matter.
Yeah, and she was like, "That's so brave." And I was like, I don't know if you know, but like anyone can go here. You could go here and not feel weird that you are at a bar by yourself and you went to Disneyland by yourself and just chose to do it. You could be, and that's true of tiki bars. You can go to a tiki bar by yourself and not be like, "This is so sad." Like,
I
there's
know,
none
it's
of the
never
sitting
sad.
over your
Yeah.
drink like, "Oh, I'm so alone."
Like,
you
there's
go
not
to
some,
drink
like-
and you're like, "I'm having a great time."
There's not like a
Yeah.
soundtrack in the background, like, "All by myself."
No,
Like,
there's not.
That does
Like,
not play when
So
you're
I
in
tried
a
to
tiki bar.
explain to her, like, I'm not being brave. I'm not like, "Oh, I'm so amazing because I did this." People are here and they're by themselves, and it's fine and it's awesome, and everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
No, I loved it. It was like a full-on environment. And then while I was there, I realized, like, well, yeah, of course Disney's gonna have escapism down.
Yeah, they've got it. Like, the one thing that I wish they would bring back.
What's that?
I know.
Like, I really wish they would bring the Tahitian Terrace back.
Tahitian Terrace.
yeah.
Disney, are you watching this? Tahitian Terrace.
Disney, please.
Yeah, Walt, if you're watching this from the grave.
Yes, please.
One thing that I really love about Tiki is it really is fully encompassing. I mean, you have the drinks. The
Yes.
drinks are great. Then you have the environment of the bar. Some of the better tiki bars, just like you were saying about the Alibi, the better tiki bars are the ones that don't have any windows.
Yes.
Because when you go in, you are supposed to escape from the outside world.
Yeah.
Full immersive environment. But what's awesome about tiki bars, I can't think of any other bars, is you can actually,
You get to be part of it.
you can dress up.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
And I think for adults, there
Oh my gosh,
is
yes.
so little of that now left for us. It's like once you have a wedding, once you've done prom and everything,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing else left. And there's this whole sector of people like where you still want to be able to do that.
Still fun.
It's still fun, and I
Yeah.
love being able to be part of that environment. And so, like, once I realized that, like tiki and then Hawaiian, like vintage Hawaiiana, and just like that you could dress to be part of it, it was like this whole world opened up where it was like this sanctioned, like, you still get to dress up thing.
Well,
Yeah.
and I feel like if I can take it back to the Disney thing and why
Yes.
so many Disney people are so into tiki is it's because a lot of people will talk about when you go to Disney, people will be like, but that's not the best, theme park rides. They don't have the best thrill rides. And the people who say they love Disney talk about, I don't care that it's not the best thrill rides. I care that it's fully immersive.
Yes.
When I
Immersive
go inside,
environments.
I'm in this place and I'm transported there and I can't see over into the real world.
Yep.
And so to me, a tiki bar is an extension of that same feeling of I want to go to a place where every part of the experience takes me somewhere.
Exactly.
So it's the drink is telling me a story and the story is completely connected with the environment I'm in, and the people wearing the clothing are like, well, I'm not going to disrupt the
Right, like,
environment,
you
so
get
I'm
to
going
be
get
part
into
of it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You
There's
guys are
not-
nailing on the heads.
A lot of other, I honestly can't think of another, like, even another cocktail culture that is like that at all. And it's friendly. That's the other thing I really like about it too. Like, there's the whole idea of like the tiki ohana, which I think is really, really amazing. It's that people are welcoming.
Yep.
It's really like, I've never had a bad experience in a tiki bar. Like, if you look at someone and you're like, hey, I like your shirt, boom, you've started the conversation, you're going to end up being friends.
I agree with you. And I think another thing too is with tiki drinks, we're talking about drinks that have several shots of rum in them. These are not
Yes.
cheap drinks. These are not
No.
cheap drinks to make. So when it comes to a real tiki bar, you're not going in here and ordering a Coors Light. So that type of crowd just doesn't really go to a tiki bar. I mean, I'm past the college partying age and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So usually the people that you're gonna see at a tiki bar are just a little bit more sophisticated than like someone that would be at your college sports bar down the street. No, tiki. I think you nailed it on the head. With tiki, there's definitely an ohana. I mean, like I met you two a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And we ended up bullshitting with each other for like 3 hours.
Yes.
It was a long time, and now I have you on the show.
I know. Now we're friends.
Now we're friends,
Right.
Yeah.
and on that,
Yeah.
ohana, aloha.
Aloha.
What's the other one? Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Ohana. Well, I just said mahalo, aloha, and all that other crap.
All that. Woo! I'll drink to that.
I will drink to that as well.
What the fuck? How did I start this motherfucking shit up? Now, how do I start this show? And